The atmosphere around BTS's tight-knit circle has shifted dramatically, and the tension is palpable. Reports from multiple on-site observers in Los Angeles have triggered alarm across the global ARMY community. Jin, the group's eldest member, was seen in a visibly weakened state, prompting an immediate and urgent reaction from Jungkook that has left fans questioning, what exactly happened behind those closed doors? Why did Jungkook's expression change from calm to sheer panic in a matter of seconds? And why is there a growing sense that the public still doesn't know the full story? Eyewitness accounts from inside the restricted event venue describe a scene that unfolded in an instant. Jin, who appeared physically stable just moments earlier, was suddenly unable to maintain his balance. His movements slowed, his posture faltered, and his expression hinted at physical distress. Before most in the room could process what was happening, Jungkook had already rushed to his side. The speed and urgency of his reaction were unlike anything seen in public appearances before. This was not the measured composure fans are used to. It was a raw, unguarded display of alarm. What caught the attention of many was not just Jin's condition, but Jungkook's immediate shift into what could only be described as a protective stance. He positioned himself physically between Jin and the surrounding crowd, appearing to block anyone from getting too close. Those present noted that Jungkook's breathing quickened, his grip on Jin's arm tightened, and his gaze swept rapidly across the room, as if searching for someone or something. This behavior raises critical questions. Was Jungkook expecting an incident like this? Did he have prior knowledge of Jin's health struggles? Adding to the tension, several fans stationed outside the venue reported that staff members were seen coordinating hurriedly through earpieces and hand signals moments before Jin was discreetly escorted out through a side exit. No cameras captured his departure, and no official explanation has been given for his sudden absence from the remaining schedule. That silence, in itself, has only amplified speculation. The lack of immediate transparency suggests either a deliberate decision to withhold details or an ongoing situation too unstable to be addressed publicly. One particularly unsettling element of the night was Jungkook's visible agitation even after Jin had been taken away. Rather than returning to the scheduled program, he appeared restless, repeatedly checking his phone, pacing the limited space backstage, and exchanging urgent, clipped words with a select group of staff. The visual of Jungkook, usually known for his measured professionalism, now unable to mask his anxiety, has struck a deep chord with fans. It suggests that what happened to Jin was not only sudden but potentially severe enough to derail the group's internal plans. Multiple attendees claim they overheard fragments of conversation that hinted at physical strain Jin had been enduring earlier in the day. Mentions of overexertion, unusual fatigue, and even possible dehydration were reportedly passed between staffers in hushed voices. However, those phrases alone cannot explain Jungkook's extreme reaction, unless, of course, this episode was the culmination of a series of unaddressed warning signs. If Jin had been pushing himself through a demanding schedule while ignoring escalating symptoms, it would explain both his sudden collapse and the urgency of Jungkook's response. Adding to the intrigue is the timing. The incident occurred just as BTS members were preparing for a high-profile engagement expected to draw significant media coverage. Any disruption to such an event carries consequences, not just for public image, but for the intricate web of schedules, endorsements, and commitments tied to the group's brand. For Jungkook to risk breaking his composure in such a visible moment signals that Jin's condition may have been far beyond a passing concern. Social media reaction was instantaneous. Within minutes, the phrase "Jungkook panic" began trending across multiple platforms, accompanied by blurry clips and hastily typed witness accounts. Fans dissected every second of the available footage, noting the way Jungkook's eyes widened, how he placed his hand firmly on Jin's back, and the subtle but unmistakable nod he gave to nearby security, an apparent signal to clear a path. Each of these micro-movements has been analyzed frame by frame, with some insisting they reveal prior training for emergencies, while others believe they show pure instinct born from years of shared experiences. Perhaps the most telling detail comes from a moment that most cameras missed, but was recounted by at least 3 separate witnesses. As Jin was led out of sight, Jungkook reportedly called out his name. Not loudly, but with an urgency that cut through the surrounding noise. The tone, described by one observer as both protective and desperate, has been haunting fans ever since. For a performer accustomed to maintaining composure under pressure, this slip of raw emotion is telling. It was not a scripted reaction. It was not for the audience. It was for Jin alone. Theories about the root cause of Jin's condition vary widely. Some point to the intense physical demands of BTS's current schedule, which has seen members balancing individual projects alongside group obligations. Others speculate about pre-existing health concerns that may have been exacerbated by travel, stress, or inadequate rest. Without clear information, each possibility remains on the table, and the silence from those close to the situation only intensifies the uncertainty. What is clear is that Jungkook's reaction has reframed the entire conversation. This was not a distant bandmate observing from the sidelines. This was a younger brother figure stepping immediately into a role of protector. His body language, his urgency, and his refusal to resume normal activities all point to a deeper layer of concern than the public has been allowed to see. Whether this signals an ongoing internal awareness of Jin's vulnerability or a shock that blindsided even the closest members remains unanswered. In the days ahead, the focus will inevitably turn to Jin's recovery and whether he'll be able to return to public engagements in the near future. But equally, attention will remain fixed on the dynamic between him and Jungkook, on the bond that prompted such a visible and instinctive reaction. For many, that moment of unfiltered concern has become the most striking image of the night, eclipsing the event itself. For now, the question lingers. What truly happened in those critical seconds when Jin's condition deteriorated, and why did Jungkook react as if every second counted? Until more information emerges, the image of a panicked Jungkook shielding Jin from view will remain etched in the minds of millions, a stark reminder that, behind the polished stages and choreographed smiles, moments of vulnerability can arrive without warning, and when they do, they change everything.